In the past, we've taken you snorkeling at Lake DeGray and also at Lake Ouachita. On this outing, we're going to check out Bull Shoals Lake in North Arkansas. The undersea world of Jacques Dovish continues. Dive.
Today had a big rain this morning, and usually they say that you can see 25-30 feet. Today it's I don't know, maybe 10 feet, but still, you know, pretty good for a lake.
Normally, folks don't think of landlocked Arkansas as a place to go snorkeling, but truth is, the many rock-lined lakes with clear water do provide wonderful opportunities for some fine snorkeling where you can see lots of colorful marine life and experience the natural state in quite a unique way. Of the several state parks that offer snorkeling outings, the best part is no experience is necessary.
That's right. You know, typically a day we'll take 5 to 10 people to hopefully some calm water, show them the gear, show them how to use the gear, how to put the gear on, and you know, do a little test in some like waist deep water. And then we try to bring them to some of these beautiful rocky points where there's ledges where little fish, brim and smallmouth, and some of the little smaller fish, and sometimes you'll see some of the big fish. You know, and give them a chance to see these beautiful outcroppings and the different species of fish that we have. So, and you know, I mean, snorkeling is, it's pretty easy. So, I mean, once they, you know, we go through, you know, I wouldn't call it technical, but once we go through the ropes with them, and they catch on so quick, and it's just a joy to be able to see what's underneath the water and breathe. So everybody seems to enjoy it. It's been a real successful program.
Yeah, people think, well, you know, what can you see, you know, in a lake in Arkansas? They think, well, if I'm going to go to the Caribbean, I can see, but really not, you know, there's, like you said, there's plenty of things people probably are surprised of what they see.
Exactly, and the visibility, like you said. I mean, today, we've had all this rain, so today was not perfect, but 20-25 feet visibility is not unusual for this lake. And a few years ago, it was even greater, 30-35 feet. You know, we've been through some major floods, which have kind of cleared the shoreline for us. And but so visibility at 20 feet, we're happy with that. And it's, I mean, it's beautiful, and people just are amazed at how pretty it is.
Honestly, like, I thought, you know, it's gonna be boring, you know, we're just gonna come out here and see nothing. But we actually came out here and there was quite a few. Got to see a bunch of perch and just a bunch of different rocks that I didn't expect to see at all.
So do you think this is something you'll try again and again?
Yeah, definitely. It's really enjoyable. I loved it a lot.
Okay, now you know where the fish are.
Yes, yes, now I know where to find the fish when I can't find them.
The snorkeling adventure at Bull Shoals-White River State Park is all thanks to Chuck Burmis.
I started volunteering for the state park in 2006 when I retired down here from Toledo, Ohio. And this lake is just so beautiful, and I've been a scuba diver most of my life, so I knew that this lake was something that people ought to see. So I asked the state park if they'd be interested in maybe developing some type of a program like that, and they were very receptive to doing that, and just a great organization to volunteer for. And so we made a proposal. I worked with our interpreter, came up with a budget, and got the money for the next year, and off we went. And we've been doing this now, I guess this is our 3rd year, and it's been very successful.
And I guess people catch on pretty quick.
It is really, it's surprising how they do. And of course, the younger they are, the quicker they are. They seem to really pick it up very quickly. And even folks that aren't good swimmers or that ever, because we give them the full vest, they feel very safe. We make sure that we give them the proper training beforehand so they feel comfortable. And I haven't had anyone who regretted taking these trips.
And you provide, this wonderful equipment, the mask, the snorkels, and those fins are something else. It's like having your own frog feet, the short that are specially designed, I guess, for snorkeling.
It is, and the vests that we use are not really snorkeling vests. They're more for boating and that sort of stuff. But we have to do that to give non-swimmers the security of feeling safe with it. So if this was a program that was, for more accomplished swimmers, we would use different equipment. But this way, everyone can participate, whether they're young or old, doesn't make any difference. So we've been very happy with the way it's worked out.
We hadn't been much. He's just done in the pool and around the area of swimming areas. So this was new.
So what'd you think of this experience here on Bull Shoals Lake?
It was awesome.
Awesome. What did you see?
Lots of fish.
We were holding our breath all week, hoping that the weather would clear up for us, because that was one of the things we were, this was our main event for the week. So we want to come back and probably do it again next year. What do you think?
So what'd you think of it?
I loved it. I like watching all the pretty fishes and the rocks and stuff.
Yeah. It's just amazing that the lake is so clear down where we are. I mean, you could put your hand and you can't see 3 inches in the water. It's just
dirt.
so dirt, and it's just like, and when we come here, it's like, this is so neat. It's so clear, you can see so much. And like I said, the ledges, the fish, the life underneath water. It's just amazing what you see down there that you don't realize from just swimming or boating, to get in there and look at it. So we'll definitely be back.
So for those of you who thought snorkeling in Arkansas, well, it just may open a whole new adventure for you that you can enjoy the rest of your life. Take it from Underlake world of Jacques Dobish. If there ever was the perfect dwelling for Batman, this would be it. The Beckham Creek Cave House, located west of Parthenon. Originally built as a bomb shelter haven by the founder of Celestial Seasonings Tea Company, this 5,800 square foot cave now rents as a lodge with natural living cave walls and ceilings surrounding the living area. Besides the 5 bedrooms and 5 baths, there's also a dining area, a game room, and a gourmet island kitchen. All in all, not too shabby of a hideout for one of the original doomsday preppers. Well, now that you've seen the luxurious and tame side of Beckham Creek Cave, through this door is the wild portion of this interesting cavern. I've got my cave hunters with me, so let's go. We teamed up with the Nature Conservancy and members of the Little Rock Grotto, and it didn't take long before we were able to observe a few bats, which brings up the white nose syndrome problem with bats.
White nose, what it does is it takes away they use up all their reserves, their energy. So they wake up in the middle of the winter and they go out to try and eat, and there's nothing to eat. So they starve to death. And that's also another reason why if you're going into caves where bats are hibernating, you don't want to do that, because if you wake them up, then they go out and there's nothing to eat in December.
So I was invited to come to this cave probably 10 years ago to help with some of the original mapping, and that was one of my first trips in here. But about 1.5 years ago, I came back with some other cave biologists that work here in the United States, and we had a multi-day meeting where we were working on some conservation projects that we're trying to implement here in the U.S. But the problem when you get a couple of cave biologists together, we're never just happy talking and working on computers. So we began to look for things. And so at that point, we found this tiny little animal back in the hallway of the main part of the cave where everybody stays, and took that to a specialist, and that specialist was able to identify that that was a brand new species, something that had never been discovered before. It's a little tiny insect, it's very small, it's about 1/16 of an inch long, and so that got us piqued and got our curiosity going that we wanted to come back and look for additional specimens that are here. So we came back a couple of times and began to look for more of these animals, and it's taken several trips to where we can find some additional animals. So each time that we come, we continue to find new and new stuff. And so this trip today, our plan is to look for additional ones of these animals. We want to try and understand how they're distributed through the cave system. We want to know, what their numbers are, if we can find enough of them. And then we also want to try to characterize the other cave life that you have in here. As you've seen, you've got bats that are flying around. There's several different bat species that are here. There's also a bunch of other invertebrates that you can find, millipedes, spiders, beetles. We may find some aquatic crustaceans in the cave stream. And so that'll give us an idea of just how biodiverse this cave system is. In Arkansas, you often see, 10 to 12 different cave-adapted animals that you find in the caves. Those are species that you only find in cave systems. They're typically white, they don't have eyes, a lot of times their antennae and legs are a lot longer so that they can navigate in the dark. And so we're going to be trying to look for those kind of animals while we're here today. And as a second agenda for what we're doing today is the caving community that's here in Arkansas is also going to be finishing up some of the map work that's here. So we have a team in here that's surveying and figuring out where these passages go, and that's helpful for several reasons. We can understand better how the water is flowing through there, how this cave is developed, but it also helps biologists like me because I can use that information to track where you find the animals in the cave system.
Do you have any idea of maybe, how many more passageways there might be? Does it connect to another cave maybe?
We don't know. That's what's the super exciting thing about being a cave explorer is you never know what's around the next bend. You go into a belly crawl, you hurt, it's painful, you pop out after 100 feet, and boom, you're in this giant walking passage that nobody ever knew about. So our goal today is to go back, the cavers are going to go back and try to push into this passage to see if it gets into these domes that they think are back there. And so they may find some new passage today, or they may get back there and find nothing at all. It's always, it's 50-50 on whether you're going to find anything or not, but that's part of the fun and part of the exploration.
That new cave insect species Slay mentioned earlier is called a springtail.
They call them springtails because this group as a whole has an appendage on the underside of its body that it sort of keeps trapped under tension. And when something scares it, it lets go of that and it flips up sort of like a flea does and just jumps away and gets away from predators. And so if we happen to see some today, which I hope that we will, we'll tease them a little bit and see if we can get them to spring away from us.
Slay has had a hand in discovering more than 20 cave species new to science.
What kind is it?
You see that fly right there?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a heliomyzid fly, or common name is a red-eyed fly. These are pretty common in our caves here in the Ozarks. You find them most abundantly in the summertime, but you can find them also in the winter. This isn't cave species, meaning that if you look at it, it's got eyes. You can find these sometimes on the surface. But this particular species has an affinity to caves versus being found outside. So it's pretty common animal that you'll find. If you look in here sometimes in the summertime, these walls will be covered with these. What we usually have to do in order to identify these animals to species is we have to collect a few of them. So I'm collecting this animal and I'm putting it in a little bit of ethanol so that it's preserved, and then I will work with taxonomists to figure out what the name is on that thing. And so what we try to do is just collect 2 or 3 of the animals so that we can confirm the species identity, but then that way we have those, and those are preserved in perpetuity, and no one ever has to come back and collect any more. So it's unfortunate that we have to collect a few, but because we have to look under a microscope to identify them, we do need a few animals and individuals. But once we do this, no one ever has to come back again and collect any more. So that little thing right there is a mite. It's a ragideid mite. Those can be a little cave-adapted species. That's an actual predator feeding on little tiny springtails. Here we have a orange harvestman. These are often found in cave systems. Here in Arkansas, we actually have 1 or 2 species that are completely cave adapted. If you were to look at them very closely, they don't have any eyes. This is also a predator feeding on you can see other little mites and things running around, but this preys on animals that are attracted to this material here. So not super common in caves. It's pretty neat when you find one. So these are related to the daddy longlegs that you find out on the surface. I've got 2 of them crawling around there. So this is a biologist's dream right here, to just spend the day poking around and stuff like this. A lot of the biodiversity that you find in a cave system, most people think about the bats and the salamanders and the occasional frog, but when we talk about biodiversity in caves, we're talking about animals that are the size of this daddy longlegs or smaller. So most of what you find, and most of the rare stuff that you find in cave systems, is all pretty small stuff. That's why most people don't ever see it. Plus, they don't like to come and poke around in little old bits of guano and feces and stuff like that. So this is a grotto salamander, and this is while it's in its larval stage, and you can see that it has gills coming out right behind the back of its head. And so this animal lives for 3 to 4 years in this aquatic larval stage, and then it metamorphoses into an adult. And as you can see, it's already losing pigment. Its eyes will fuse shut, the gills will disappear, and it'll crawl out of the water, and as an adult, it'll hang out in these terrestrial banks here along the sides. So this is our only salamander in the Ozarks that is a cave species.
So for an extreme cave experience, both in lodging and exploring, to the Bat Cave, Robin. Beckham Creek Cave, that is. The Strawberry River in north-central Arkansas, one of the few remaining free-flowing rivers in the natural state. Because of its fine qualities, the stream's upper section has been designated as an Arkansas Natural and Scenic River. It contains one of the greatest concentrations of aquatic biodiversity in North America, which is also why the strawberry is protected as a preserve with the Nature Conservancy, whose motto has been saving the last great places on Earth.
One of the ways that we essentially select our rivers in the Ozarks, if you look at the Ozarks as a broader plateau, including Missouri and Arkansas, you essentially had sort of an uplifted dome of rock. Very old. About 300 million years ago it uplifted, and that was, from a fish species-wise, about the time, if you think of from an ocean standpoint, sharks started to diversify and spread out. So what happened is you had a very large uplifted dome of rock that started to erode and cut down deep dissected valleys. And within those valleys, essentially it was surrounded by an ancient ocean. So it sat there isolated from anywhere else. The Appalachia was too far to sort of have genetic connectivity between fish species or terrestrial species, and the same thing with the Rockies. So the Ozarks developed isolated, and that's one of the reasons you had such a high level of biodiversity, particularly in the water. So what happened is over time, as all those cut down and you got these deeply dissected plateaus, a lot of those rivers started to develop in and of themselves their own species diversity. And if you think about it compared to other areas in the nation, the strawberry itself has about 13% of all the fish species found in the entire United States, and including Canada, North American continent, are found in this river. So it's extremely diverse. And the reason is because it's very old and it evolved in isolation. And that's one of the reasons you had these sort of unique niches, both aquatically and terrestrially, where you had these different animals able to come in and occupy. And a lot of the other rivers in the Ozarks are the same. So for us, when we think of it from a way we select a river, is it important or is it not important? We base that on using the best available science, literature review, and bringing in stakeholder groups and partners to figure out where we want to work. So we want to work where the ecosystem is fairly intact, it has a wide diversity of native species, and in most cases it has something that's unique.
Such as the Strawberry River orange throat darter, which is different from other darters.
I think the reason for that is because it essentially evolved in isolation from those other species. So since it has some genetic difference, if you look at it from a habitat standpoint, the habitats of many darters are very much the same. They basically live in fast-moving riffles. So if you have little rocks that are together, little spaces, intersticular spaces in between, where the power of the water comes around those rocks and moves, it creates little still spaces, and that's where a lot of darters live. That's really important for a river like this, because when you think of what could destroy this river, if those spaces fill in with dirt, the fish can't survive. And if that fish is gone, that's the #1 indicator of river health for us. So if that species is declining in number or it's vanishing, we know that systemically throughout the watershed there's a major problem. So we can use indicator species like that, darters, mussels, to track changes in the river at scale. And that's really our approach in the Strawberry and our other Ozark rivers.
You can see a lot of diversity of this river is in the macroinvertebrates, so the insects that live underneath these rocks. You see a little hellmite here, different species of dragonfly. That's what a lot of these smaller darters and fish eat often. Bottom of the food web. These guys can't bite. That's where it all begins.
Fishing is popular on the Strawberry, particularly bass fishing.
There he is. You got one.
Oh, that's a good fish. That's a
oh
really
yeah.
good fish.
Look at here now.
Really good fish. Really good fish. Really good fish. Great smallmouth. No, it's a largemouth.
Man, that's
a large,
good one.
Good sized fish. My goodness.
Good job, Roger.
Thank you.
I like that. Orange Rapala's working out for you.
Orange Rapala. That's the choice of the day thus far. If I can not stick a hook in my hand, that'd be nice.
By By becoming a member of the Nature Conservancy, you can enjoy the adventure of going out on field trips with them.
So we have about 20 field trips we do per year. We have a spring season and a fall season, and we have about 5,000 members in Arkansas, so we dedicate it to them. And we want public awareness, and tell your friends and become a member today, and you can get a flyer, and they're really fun, and we have our field trips on them, so it's great.
To become a member of the Nature Conservancy, just go to nature.org/Arkansas. And before we leave the Strawberry River, Roger Mangum just couldn't resist testing out a strawberry swimming hole.
Get in there right there. No worries? Didn't even hit the bottom. No worries?
So, float and explore the Strawberry River for yourself, one of the most biodiverse streams in North America. And for more on this destination, plus many of our others, and to order a copy of an episode, visit our expanded website at aetn.org/exploringarkansas. And don't forget to like us on our Facebook fan page. And we'll see you again the next time for another exciting adventure on Exploring Arkansas.